Ladies and gentlemen, can somebody tell me how? Somebody explain this to me. I need this to be explained to me because we all know Hillary Clinton's going to be the nominee. And I just need this to be explained to me for people who don't think that's accurate. They think that Biden's going to win. Well, Biden's done. Okay, after tonight, he's done. He got no delegates. Well, the whole thing's nonsense anyway. This is CNN, the trusted name in news. The delegate count. CNN's estimate of the New Hampshire delegate count has Sanders and Buttigieg each taking home 9 apiece. Klobuchar taking 6. Combined with Iowa delegates, Mayor Pete now has a total of 23. Sanders has 21. Klobuchar has 7. Do you want to know how easy it'll be for Klobuchar to surpass Sanders? Have you listened to Klobuchar? She's even more boring than I am. Have you listened to Amy Klobuchar, her speech? You're talking about like, if you watched paint dry, it would be like watching Cirque du Soleil if you listened to the Minnesota senator for too long. The delegate count, CNN's estimate of New Hampshire delegate count has Sanders and Mayor Pete each taking home 9 apiece, and Klobuchar taking 6. So, okay, Sanders won Iowa. He won the popular vote, which they are obsessed over. We win the popular vote. Well, then how did Russia interfere, genius? If you won the popular vote, how did they interfere? Well, Facebook ads. Well, which Facebook ads affected swing states? Well, we don't know. It just sounds good. Sanders had a lot more votes in Iowa. He had more votes in Iowa. He had more votes, barely more votes. Now, Mayor Pete is like, I'm just going to say Mayor Pete because it's easier than saying his name. Mayor Pete is basically a new person on the scene. Bernie Sanders had 4 years of a movement that has now turned into a bowel movement. 4 years. 4 years to build. 4 years to tell the Democratic Party, if you cheat me again, you will suffer the consequences. But, of course, that's never happened. So they're cheating him again, and Hillary Clinton is going to be the nominee. If Biden or Klobuchar or Warren or Mayor Pete, if they're all tied with Bernie, guess who gets all of those 4, the delegates of those 4 candidates? It'll be Hillary Clinton. She could run after New York. Just do the math. She could run after Super Tuesday, get the delegates, or she could run, not even run, go to the convention and say, look, you know what? I'm still the best person. Everyone's tied. Who cares how it happens? It's all nonsense anyway. But how does Bernie Sanders get more of the popular vote and then lose in delegates? Is this fair? Is this fair? No, it's not. The same thing happened in New Hampshire in 2016. Sanders won the popular vote by a very wide margin. Okay? By a very wide margin. And he got the same amount of delegates. I know this is boring. Okay? And actually, it's late at night, so you can actually listen to me and fall asleep. But Democratic delegates are pledged to certain candidates based on the results of primaries. This is 538. This is because of a little secret. Democratic delegates are pledged to certain candidates based on the results of primaries, but they are not actually legally bound to vote for them, even on the first ballot. In theory, this means Democratic delegates could subvert the will of voters. In theory, no, in practice. It happened in practice in 2016. It's happening in practice now. So Bernie Sanders won, but this is like he would have to. First of all, it's not a fair primary. The whole thing's rigged. He still has less delegates. He should have gotten at least one more delegate, but they're tied. So I don't know how this is a win. If anything, it's a win for Mayor Pete. He won in Iowa because of an app, so he's part of the cheating also. But see, it's not at what point do you say this isn't cheating? At what point do you say this is exactly what needs to happen to convince enough people that they're really trying, but golly gee, everyone's just has the same amount of delegates. Gee, what's going to happen? Gosh, who would unify? Who would unify Sanders, Mayor Pete, Warren, Biden, Bloomberg, Steyer? Who would unify this? Na, 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 na. Who is Madam Secretary? So in theory, this means Democratic delegates could subvert the will of the voters and deny a candidate who had won the majority of pledged delegates the nomination. But this is highly unlikely, all right. Barring perhaps a candidate dropping out. Well, there you go. Do you think Biden got no delegates in New Hampshire? He gave up, along with Warren, which is bizarre. That's bizarre as well. So, that's very bizarre. So, I mean, I don't understand it, but again, you know what? I don't speak Democrat. I speak just English and normal and, logic, reason. I don't converse in the language of pledged delegates who don't need to vote for people who win. The whole thing is absolutely rigged. It's a charade. Who on this planet believes that they're really trying? Okay, for the Democratic Party, for a person to look at this, let's say it's a CNN pundit or an MSNBC pundit or a journalist for the Washington Post or the New York Times, or even a Republican strategist who can't stand, who's a never-Trumper. If you're looking at this primary and you're saying, wow, this is a really interesting way of counting. This is a really interesting way of gauging or evaluating the will of Democratic voters. We're going to see who gets, and forget about, look, the Constitution states you can win without the popular vote. So the popular vote, you don't even need. The popular vote is vanity. And then they say, well, Russia cheated Hillary. Well, how? If she won the popular vote, how did Russia cheat her? But anyway. And there's no evidence that any swing state voters read, Facebook ads that, altered their brains. But if you're looking at this and you're saying, gosh, the Democrats, they really have an ingenious plan. They're trying in the best way possible to pick the one person who can defeat Trump with a process that gives more delegates to people who don't win the popular vote in every state. How does that work? The whole point is, well, we don't want a 1972 again with George McGovern. Well, you got the same thing with Clinton. At least, I don't think he spent $1.2 billion. Okay. So, how much did McGovern spend? Okay, so let's see. 1972 election spending, Nixon. Election set spending record. So here, this is great. This is the New York Times. 72 elections spent spending record. Now, compare this to $1.2 billion from Clinton and $600 million for Trump. The one-sided presidential election of 1972 set a campaign spending record for nearly $137 million for the two major parties. Richard Nixon, now check this out. Richard Nixon, his token competitors for the nomination and the committee supporting his candidacy paid $69.3 million for the landslide Republican victory. Senator George McGovern, his Democratic primary rival, spent $67 million in defeat. So they were better off with McGovern than Clinton. And Clinton's going to lose again because she's going to be nominee. McGovern only spent $67 million. She spent $1.2 billion. Even with inflation, $67 million it doesn't equal $1.2 billion from 72. So anyway, I forgot even what my point was. She's definitely running. Definitely running. There's no reason why she wouldn't. Amy Klobuchar is about to pass. Well, wait. Biden doesn't even. How many delegates does Biden have? The whole thing's nonsense anyway. Biden doesn't even have 7 delegates. How on earth could the guy win? Mayor Pete does not have a national name recognition. Klobuchar eats salad with a comb, so you can. That whole thing is DOA. Politically. I mean, what is the difference? Here's also the issue. What's the difference between Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg? I don't know. Policy-wise, what's the difference? The same things. And Bloomberg. They're the same people. They're all the same people. The only difference would be Warren and Sanders, and I don't know that much of a difference. There's a difference between Warren and Sanders, but not that much. The whole thing's nonsense anyway. It's a charade. So, I mean, you look at what took place, and now you have President Trump, who's going to pardon Roger Stone. And rightfully so, even though, I'm not the biggest fan of Roger Stone, but he doesn't deserve what they were trying. They just wanted retribution. All they wanted was retribution. That's what the whole Mueller probe was about. Thank you, Eric H526. Thank you. Biden is done. So, hold on. Biden has 6 delegates, okay? Amy Klobuchar has 7 delegates. Elizabeth Warren has 8. Biden was supposed to be the frontrunner to win. There is no frontrunner now. They cheated Bernie Sanders. They're going to cheat him again. They cheated him in Iowa, and they basically cheated him in New Hampshire. Mayor Pete does not have name recognition. He is a good candidate. He's running a good campaign. I can't take that away from him. He's basically President Obama. He's 2020's President Obama. And President Obama, I'm not fond of his tenure as president, but I don't think the people of Libya are either. But one thing you could say about me also. One thing you could say about Bill Clinton and President Obama and President Trump, okay, and even the worst president we've ever had, Bush, but not to the same extent. But Bill Clinton and Barack Obama were amazing campaigners. They ran amazing campaigns. Oh my goodness, I ran such a great campaign. My slogan was, meet me in the Oval Office, and there'll be a turkey in every pot. He did run a great campaign. And President Obama ran a great campaign. President Trump, he definitely ran a great campaign. So obviously, I mean, to get to be able to do what he did, Trump, to be able to do what he did with media against him, that's phenomenal. Okay, Clinton is going to be the nominee again. She'll run a better campaign. It'll still be horrible. It'll still be horrible. What do you want? It's a political machine. Now, Bernie Sanders, his campaign, he basically is just funneling votes back into the Democratic Party for people who want things that Democrats don't want. So, but I mean, you look at what Netlux TV, very cool. Thank you for that info. Thank you. Yeah, I did a segment today. President Trump frustrated them so badly that the prosecutors had to just resign out of frustration. So hilarious. It's so hilarious. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want any evidence that Hillary Clinton is going to be nominee, how many delegates? The whole thing's nonsense anyway. These delegates aren't even pledged. They're not even pledged. It's all nonsense. But you have six. He's last in delegates. Other people. Bloomberg even got a delegate tonight. I think he did, or one or two or whatever. But you look at what's taking place, and it's like trying to. You look at what's taking place, and it's like Biden was supposed to be the front runner. He's now behind Amy Klobuchar. He's not going to do well in Nevada. Okay, people in Nevada, they do like Bernie, but a lot of them will like Klobuchar also. A lot of them will like Pete Buttigieg. Bernie Sanders barely won. New Hampshire. Okay? Now, in 2016, when I was saying that was Bernie's time, he demolished Madam Secretary. In New Hampshire, he still got the same amount of delegates. Okay, that's, they cheat, in broad daylight. But, good for him, give him a little bit of a win. It's not really a win when you look at the delegates, but as long as people aren't, and they tried to get him too. Mayor Pete got 68,000. Bernie got over 71,000. It was close. If Mayor Pete is doing this in New Hampshire, what do you think is going to happen in Nevada? The polls don't mean anything anyway. So, look, you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at two different worlds. Like, Trump is like, Mueller probe is nonsense. We're pardoning Roger Stone. And honestly, I think I wrote in the Federalist, he needs to pardon Michael Flynn, and I wrote in the Times of Israel and the Daily Caller, he needs to pardon Assange. He needs to pardon people and let them run on. Look, let them run on. Let them run on, oh my God, we have to indict people. Let them run on that. Eric H526, thank you. I just think that you're looking at two different worlds. One world, you're looking at Trump consolidating political power. He really is consolidating power. He fired, 70 plus people who are President Obama's holdovers. Many in the National Security Council, one, or Vindman from the National Security Council, but also, I think from the National Security Council, other places too. You have Democrats who are like stuck in this belief that they have this fair primary. Then you have Hillary Clinton today calling Trump a word that I'm not going to use on YouTube just because she knows a thing about this. Oh, here we go. Let's say Hillary Clinton compares Trump to failed state authoritarians. Yeah, like the ones that you ousted that caused people to be bought and sold in regions of the world, Madam Secretary. Oh, that's one. So Hillary Clinton, do you realize that intimidating judges is the behavior of failed state authoritarians? Just asking. Oh, that's so interesting. So it's never ending. I mean, Clinton is in the news every single day. Every single day. And it's not like you have to ask yourself, well, why would she be going after Trump all the time? Why is she going after Trump all the time? Okay. So it is going to be so amazing when Trump wins in 2020. Oh my God, it's going to be so amazing. It's going to be so amazing when Trump wins. It will be so amazing. Because they won't know what to do with themselves. It'll be with Clinton again. They'll lose with Clinton again. It'll be just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Then the interesting thing will be like, okay, Bernie will say vote Clinton. They'll all say vote Clinton. Clinton will get her delegates. Biden is done. Biden is done. Let's look at the... Okay, so... Democratic... See, Nevada is all messed up because they have Biden... They have Biden up... They have Biden up in these polls in Nevada. So that's done. They have Biden. Sanders is second. But you have Warren right next to Sanders. You have Biden up. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Steyer is at 10 points. How is that even possible? So I'm looking at the Real Clear Politics. The whole thing's nonsense. The whole thing is nonsense. Then they all turned on Bernie. They're like, socialism. So Biden was up in New Hampshire. I'm sorry, Biden was up in Nevada. So you have Klobuchar, or you have Bloomberg, or you have Steyer is like only 7 points from Bernie in Nevada. Then you get South Carolina. Biden's up 12, but South Carolina, Steyer is at 18. How is Steyer even viable? I don't care how many billions he has. Aside from climate change, like what are his views on foreign policy? So I mean, the whole thing is like, All of this is nonsense. It's all nonsense. Biden is up in Texas. They're all over the place. Sanders and Biden are almost tied in California, but Biden is done. So who's voting for Biden? The people voting for Biden, they're not going to go to Bernie Sanders. So then they go to Buttigieg or Amy Klobuchar. Whatever. Looking at these polls, it's going to be so hilarious how media and pundits slowly, like he got the same amount of delegates. He won tonight, but he got the same amount of delegates. That's not winning, okay? That's winning if you're ready to lose. That's winning if you're ready to lose. So if you look at all of these, rigged polls, you can see that the whole thing's nonsense. But it's interesting because you have Democrats living in their own fantasy world. Hillary Clinton's going to be the nominee. There's no clear frontrunner. Just like I said, there's no clear frontrunner. I said that for 3 years. You look at the delegate count again here. Mayor Pete is leading with 22 delegates. Okay, Biden has 6. Bernie Sanders has 21, but he's going into South Carolina. He's not going to win South Carolina. And Nevada, he's not up in Nevada. So if he doesn't win Nevada and South Carolina, he could end up at 4th. Amy Klobuchar Amy Klobuchar got, how did she get 50-something thousand people? I don't even know how that's even possible. 55,000 people in New Hampshire? She got Warren and Biden. That's hilarious. They both left for some reason. They didn't want anything to do with him. I don't know. Biden, I understand, but Warren, I don't get. If Warren wasn't there, Bernie would technically run away with it, but Warren wants that vice president position with Hillary. Watch, it's going to be Hillary and Warren versus Trump. But let me see this. So, wow. Juicy Smollett. Wow. Wow, indicted on 6 counts. Wow. TDS. My goodness. My goodness. My God. I mean, this is so you have Juicy Smollett, you have Roger Stone being pardoned, and then you have Mayor Pete tying Bernie Sanders, who won, tied in delegates. So this is tell me how Democrats are winning at any of this. Tell me how the left is winning at all. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Look at that. Sparky! Trump doesn't need primary voters. Encourage them to vote. Tulsi in her primary. It'll make Trump better by keeping him from listening to Pompeo. Yeah. You know what, Sparky? I honestly think the way Trump runs things is that he doesn't listen to the advice of people like Pompeo. Pompeo may be less hawkish than he certainly never listened to the homeless walrus. There ain't no future. That's right. CG3SSF, hello. Ain't no future in your front, for real. That's right. This is the MC Breed election, everybody. Hello, CG3SSF. MC Breed, one of the great rappers of all time. Great song, Ain't No Future in Your Frontin'. Democrats have a song. It's called The Only Future We Have Is Frontin'. And their new single, Frontin' Is Our Life and Our Only Future. Sparky! Yeah, I mean, I think that would be good. The only thing is, Clinton, in her definite, because she's definitely not running, called Tulsi Gabbard a Russian operative. So, the interesting thing about Nevada, Sparky and everybody here, Nevada's going to be really interesting. If Bernie doesn't win Nevada, I love it. They still have... Oh, now they have Biden up. I mean, now they have Sanders up. Democrats... Sanders should win... Bernie should win Nevada, but Democrats will do something to cheat Bernie. He'll win Nevada and get the same amount of delegates, so... the whole thing's nonsense anyway. I was like the lone voice in the wilderness saying the same thing that nobody wanted to hear. In 2015, 2016, I said Clinton would lose, Clinton would lose, Clinton would lose. Nobody wanted to hear it. They thought it was nonsense because nobody was saying it. And now I'm the only person saying Clinton's going to be a nominee. They don't want to hear it. It's like you can't win. You can't win. You can't win. When I said she was going to lose and she lost, nobody wanted to hear it. When I said she's going to be nominee and she's going to be nominee, nobody wants to hear it. Basically, nobody wants to hear anything I say. Okay, Biden is done. So Biden has no campaign. So now Warren is at 11%. If she gets 10 points, who cares, honestly? They're going to just... who cares? The whole thing's nonsense anyway. Sparky! What about Venezuela and their Bougie-Guay? Sparky, the way I look at it is that economy, I understand it's not the progressive viewpoint, but that economy was just in dire straits. The economy had, what was it, 1,000,000% inflation at one point, at 1 month? So, hold on 1 second. The inflation rate they have hyperinflation. So in 2016, it was 274% inflation. You can't live like that. Then in 2017, 863%. Then in 2018, 130,000%. So, I mean, that economy was just doing so horribly. That's not the fault of Trump, though. Thank you, Parabiology 101. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. Thank you, Parabiology 101. So Bernie Sanders tied with Mayor Pete. I love this. Sanders cements his frontrunner status. The frontrunner? He was the frontrunner in 2016. I like how, people are like, oh, yeah, it's fantasy. H.A. Goodman's fantasy writing in 2016. No, that was actually the case. Bernie Sanders would have won in 2016. Thank God Trump won. But he would have won if Democrats rallied around Bernie. But they didn't want to win with anyone other than Clinton. They would have rather lost with Clinton than win with Bernie. That's the thing. It's a political machine. It doesn't run on logic or reason. Okay, does anyone, I have been saying that Biden is not the front runner, that Biden is not going to be the nominee, and everyone was saying Biden's going to be the nominee. 538 and MSNBC. Biden is not the I was a Democrat my whole life. You understand? Up until recently, where I'm no party affiliation. Okay. I put no party affiliation. Now, so I'm no party affiliation. The Democratic Party tried to pull, like, in California, some weird, like, they're like, oh, well, you can't not be a Democrat anymore. Like, what? What kind of ridiculous thing is that? So then I eventually just fixed that. But anyway. Sparky! I'm kidding to some pizza true cycle. Yeah, well, he does have that look. That kind of Sparky. There are certain photos, there's certain pics of him where it's like, oh boy. But then, I mean, then again, they would do those pictures of me too. Like, there's one like publication. They're not around anymore, but like they're obsessed over me. And then like every article about me would be like, yeah. H.A. Badman admits he was a Trumper all along. Yes, it was my dastardly plan. Oh, Lord. So, the hilarious thing will be, the delegates, there's like, they have to have 1,990 delegates, okay? This is how the nonsense works, but they're not pledged to anyone. So, Michelle Frost, exactly. Thank you for watching. There's 1,990 delegates. Okay. The whole thing is nonsense. Because let's say Bernie got 1,989 delegates. They could all vote for Clinton or Buttigieg or whatever. But they would vote for Clinton. Bernie barely won New Hampshire. And he got the same amount of delegates. And God bless him. You know what? The poor guy deserves a win. I'm happy for him. But when I was saying that he was going to win, people were like, ah. Oh, I agree, Sparky. I agree with you, 100%. I don't want to intervene in any country, but unfortunately, even with Trump, there's no. We always have to be everywhere at all times, unfortunately. With Trump, we're at least less involved militarily. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Biden is done. So we get Amy Klobuchar now. Amy Klobuchar, oh my God. I listened to her victory speech. Wow. That's about 35 seconds I'll never get back in my life. that speech was really not very Sparky! Pete's undercurrent of anger common to psychopaths. Yeah. I hear you on that. I don't doubt that. I think there's a lot of acting with Mayor Pete. I think Bernie is, well, there's a lot of acting with Bernie too, but he's probably the most real one of all of them. Oh my God, Biden is like the biggest actor of all. Hey, fat. Hey, fat. Called an Iowa voter fat and then wonders why he's, got no delegates in Iowa or whatever. 5 or 4 or whatever. Yeah. Sparky! Yeah, but unfortunately, Pompeo also tweeted DNC emails. So a lot of what he says, I see what you're saying, and I agree with you on that. But that's unfortunately an American political system thing. That the emphasis is from the Democratic Party and people aligned with Clinton. That Trump, if it was up to Trump, he would pardon everybody. I think, including Assange. I really do. But it's not up to Trump. If it was up to Trump alone, he'd bring home all Americans instantly. But he has to deal with this a giant establishment. Now, President Trump of 2019 or 2020, Trump of 2020, I think, is a heroic figure in many ways. Let's hope that when he wins, there isn't a real scandal, because they have to fabricate things. So, Madam Secretary's just waiting. What Trump needs to do tomorrow is pardon Stone, Flynn, Assange, pardon them all. And then it would be brilliant. And then what they would have to run on is not Medicare for all. They would run on indicting people for a Mueller probe that they didn't even have the audacity or the courage to put into the articles of impeachment. So that's hilarious. But and then South Carolina's going to come, and then, who knows? You have people, Deval Patrick, Tom Steyer, Bernie. I don't know if he's going to do well in South Carolina. Mayor Pete might not also. So there you go. The whole thing, look, they're all going to be bunched up. It's all going to be nonsense. They're all going to be bunched up. They're all going to have the same amount of delegates. And at the end of the day, some of them might run out of money. Because, who is giving money to Amy Klobuchar at this moment? Sparky! I think you're right on that, Sparky. Yeah. I think both. I wouldn't listen to either of them if I was Trump. I agree with you on that. But see, something's very bizarre when Bernie barely wins New Hampshire. Mayor Pete almost defeats him in New Hampshire, and then Amy Klobuchar gets over 60,000 votes? That's bizarre. No, over 50,000 votes. That's bizarre. And why did Warren? Why didn't Warren? So Warren and Biden take big falls in New Hampshire. Biden is done. There is no Biden campaign, which means that there is no front runner. Which means if Biden drops out, like I've been saying he will, who do you think's going to fill in for Biden? Oh, and that's right. You know who gets to take all his filing applications? And they just, scribble the Biden name and put another name. Why are 50 points in? That's right. Who do you think they have? John Kerry? Who do you think they have? Avenatti? Juicy Schmillier 2020? Who do you think? That's right, Hillary Clinton. So it's just a matter of time before Biden drops out. I don't think Bernie can beat Trump. Even if they didn't cheat for Hillary, I don't think that Bernie could beat Trump this year. because it's very tough to talk about it's very tough to communicate a populist message from the left when the economy is great. Bernie's thing is the 1%. Well, there was a certain point, like, the economy is actually doing better for everyone. That's a fact. Even Paul Krugman, who's like, who is like, it's like, oh, there's going to be a recession, a global recession. Oh my God. Even he's like, yeah, the economy's pretty good. So, even he was like, yeah, the economy's pretty good. By the way, I'll be doing a segment on Juicy Smollier on H.A. Goodman's other channel after this live stream. So make sure to check out H.A. Goodman's other channel about 10 minutes after this live stream ends. About 15 minutes. But I don't know. If you look at this, then you have the four prosecutors who are so petulant. They're like, I don't want to play anymore. I'm taking my ball and leaving. So they're gone. The Mueller probe prosecutors. I love how nobody talks about the Mueller probe anymore. Like, it was just a moment, like 3 years of wasted history in the United States of America. Like, literally wasted. Like, absolutely wasted history. They just wasted time. They just completely wasted 3 years. Actually, it wasn't 3 years of wasted, like, history in terms of Trump. Trump did great things. But then you have 5 hours ago, why Joe Biden's campaign is collapsing. Who told you this? I have been telling you this forever. Please, Madam Secretary, please. Give me the Oscars I've been wanting. I feel like Susan Lucci with the Daytime Soap Awards. Remember, like in the 80s or 90s? Like, give me that, daytime Oscar, please. I'm waiting. We're waiting. Just run already. I guess, you know what? She's just going to wait till after Super Tuesday or the day before the convention. Who cares? The whole thing's nonsense. Who cares? Honestly, who cares? Who on earth cares? So. Why would Joe Biden text this? Or why would Joe Biden, 99.9%, that's the percentage of African American voters who have not yet had a chance to vote in this nomination process. You cannot and should not win the Democratic nomination for president without the support of black and brown voters. Okay. Why would you assume they wouldn't vote for Bernie Sanders, Biden, or Mayor Pete? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, Biden, in your usual nonsensical, illogical communication style? Spit it out. What are you trying to say? Oh, that's right. You're not really trying to say anything. You're just trying to... Sparky! By the way, thank you, Sparky. Greatly appreciated. Presidential pardon can't be refused. Walker versus U.S. and it's a forced admission of guilt, so Stone, Flynn, etc. may want to see how their appeals turn out. That's true. Thank you for that. That is true. I'm assuming you're right. Yeah. That's a great point. Although I think at this stage now, they're like, they don't even want to go through it. They probably wouldn't even want to spend like a cent more on all of this nonsense. But that's a great point, Sparky. Great point. Yeah, I mean, when you have Smollier indicted, everything's unraveling. Every single thing is unraveling. Biden's campaign is done. Smolier's indicted. Avenatti. I mean, where's the 2020 campaign? I mean, every single person who goes out, it's like a Trump curse. This is worse than the curse of the Bambino. This is like the Trump curse. Biden doesn't even have, like... Biden's campaign's done. So, if he... Let's say... You have to ask yourself, who's giving him money? What person who just doesn't like money and doesn't want money for their family is giving? Like, you could give to charities. You could give to Bernie Sanders' campaign. At least, you know what? He's not going to win. He's going to be cheated again. But at least he's like inspirational to people on the left. You could give to charities. You could give. There's a million ways to be noble or philanthropic, whatever. What kind of person at this point is like, you know what? Here's $100 check, Biden. I really believe in you. Why would you do that? Why would you? Might as well just go to the toilet and put the Benjamin, put the 100 in there. Sparky, you are like. Honestly, thank you. My only person here. Thank you, Sparky. Are you doing anything about? I am not. I don't really. Let's see. Let's see. Not really. Let's see. The ballot harvesting. Yeah. That was not good. That's very bizarre. That's a whole bizarre thing. I don't think that happens in the presidential election. They just did that to very likely cheat during the midterms, but that was a huge issue. Sparky, thank you. Thank you. You know what it is? It's like in sports. If you obsess, like if you're a tennis player, or if you're James Whalen, what's up, my rabbi? Thank you. Live from Africa. It's Trump 2020 over here. Clinton. Clinton eating my meat 2020. And don't you know, Clinton is the more vicious one of that ticket. We know where. That's right, literally. James Whalen, thank you, Clinton. There's no way though that Idi Amin would ever could stand Madam Secretary. You know what I mean? Oh, that's awesome. James Whalen, thank you very much. That's awesome. James Whalen. Let's see here. So, Trump is now every day there's going to be something new. Like, you got to watch. Everybody watch this channel and H.A. Goodman's other channel. Every single day there's going to be something new. Oh, Daily Beast. Trump pushes revenge operations. I love it. Oh my God, I love it. Don't you? When the Southern District goes after Trump, it's never a revenge operation. No. Oh no, it's never a revenge operation. It's always like the government, the levels of government working, the republic. We have to stop election interference from a hostile foreign nation. Why is the Southern District going after Trump? Oh, we have to be very, very thorough in investigating Trump for the country. It's our solemn duty. What about like if Giuliani finds corruption from Biden? Oh, impeach, impeach. Don't you love this? They're like, Jimmy Kimmel goes after Trump for calling Bloomberg racist, which he had stop and frisk. Okay? That is like the most overtly racist thing. Trump never did anything close to that, ever. So, you say, well, Trump endorsed it. Well, he was the Democratic mayor. Also, you look at Rikers Island. You look at all the horrible things that take place in New York or California. These are all Democratic-run places. So they're gonna do the same things. It's not going to work. Their game plan is basically the same game plan over and over and over again. It's just the same. Sparky, like ZZ Top, election fraud's bad. It's nationwide. Yeah. Thank you, Sparky. ZZ Top. I like ZZ Top. I remember it was like $1 million from Gillette to shave their beards, and they're like, no way. Good for them. That was like a long time ago, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, they're like, oh my God, Trump is so vindictive. Oh, he's a menace. Meanwhile, all they did was go after Trump. That's like their life's mission was only going after Trump. My God, their mission in life was going after Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. James Wayland Sparky, thank you so very, very much. James Whalen and Sparky, thank you so much. To all close to 500 people watching, thank you very, very, very much. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel on YouTube. In about 15 minutes, I'll have a segment on Smoulier and the indictments. Thank you so very much, everyone. Have a great, great evening. I'll see you tomorrow. From here on out, every single day, there's going to be something amazing. So be here on H.A. Goodman, on H.A. Goodman's other channel as well.